24/7 at morningbuzz.com.
This is unbelievable.
Now that's what's up.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, here we are back. Welcome to the Buzz 24/7, everybody. And we're expecting Bill Janovitz. I got to make sure I got to move some things around here. He's going to be on the phone today. And Bill is an author who actually was in the, if you were old enough to know a band called Buffalo Tom, he was in the band. The Cars, Let the Stories Be Told is the name of the book. And I'm expecting Bill any minute. I love The Cars.
Was the first album the one with all the hits?
Yes.
Moving in stereo and all that
Yes.
stuff?
It was
Great
a landmark
album.
Anytime I think about
That's the one I like.
if you were to pick the best debut album by a band ever, there's three that come to mind. Boston, Van Halen 1, and The Cars. I mean, there are a lot of great debut albums, but those, you know every song from all of those albums, you know? Veritably, every single song on The Cars debut album made it to rock radio and is still played today, you know? So, do you know any Cars? No, okay, forget it. I shouldn't.
You'll know Cars. Always remember Drive.
Let's go.
The song is called Drive,
Okay.
sung by the Cars. That is one that you'll never forget.
Yep.
Now,
Drive, Cars.
it's
Locked
easy.
in.
And their first album was The Girl Driving with the Steering.
With the steering wheel. Yeah.
Best album.
$4.99 I
Love it.
paid for that record at JM Fields.
I had it on cassette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pathetic. We were pathetic. I mean, we weren't pathetic, but
No, we were cool.
the fact that
We
it was
were fantastic.
$4.99 and I can tell you what store I bought it at, that's pathetic.
Pathetic.
So Bill's going to be joining us. The band, Rick Ocasek was the lanky, kind of lead singer, but one of the best voices in rock and roll was Benjamin Orr, who was the bass player. And
Blonde, spiky hair.
Oh yeah, he had spiky hair, but his voice he did everything like the non-quirky songs. Good Times Roll, you know what I mean? Is Ben Orr, and he passed away.
Now, they got along till the end. No fights with the Cars.
You know, I don't know. That's
Because-
why I wanted to talk to this guy, because I know there was
Well, you
a
know, babe,
breakup. There was a breakup.
I thought it got a little nasty.
I
at
think
the
it
end.
did.
Because
It
there's a reason why they didn't get back together.
Yeah. They did get back together eventually for a short-lived tour after Ben died. Rick Ocasek went out with the band. David Robinson, Greg Hawkes, Rick Ocasek and Ben Orr, I believe. And Elliot Easton, too. See, I knew I was forgetting somebody there. So anyway, he's going to be joining us. And then we got some other stuff we got to get caught up on. I want to gripe a little bit more about your generation. And I know you have stuff to gripe about as well, you know. So it's okay. It's all right. Sometimes I find myself doing things I'm like, oh, what am I friggin' doing?
What are you doing?
You know, well, you get to a point in your life, and no matter how old you are, you're doing things that you maybe didn't think that you would be doing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like earlier today when we played this clip of some guy marveling about screensavers, and I'm like, dude, that's me. Like, I got a cool screensaver. You have a Mac, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and your screensavers move.
Oh, yeah.
That shit is crazy. And I'm looking at it going, that is so cool. And I'm enamored with it. That's pathetic. I got to get a life. You know? I do. I fully recognize
I need to
a
purchase
life.
a life.
A friend of mine came over last night. She goes, how many bird feeders do you have? And I just put my head down. Freaking embarrassing.
Oh, you shouldn't be embarrassed.
I am a little bit.
No, would you hit a certain age?
Yeah.
It's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Yeah, well, I am. All right, I hope he calls. Because I don't know what I'm going to do for 10 minutes.
We're going to talk about General Hospital.
We can figure it out. General Hospital, what's going on that? I was going to ask a question about, do you guys feel like one of the kids that I work with at Scouts, I licked my finger and took a piece of paper. He refused to take my paper.
He's a COVID
What
kid,
do
for
you-
God's sakes. Why would he want it? Why would he? Do you realize?
Why are you licking your finger? Like,
Well,
what
I
are you,
still
Because
do
I
that
had, a
once in a
stack,
while,
I had a
yeah.
stack of papers and I'm trying to
Who doesn't
distribute
do
them
that
to the
once in a
Scouts.
while?
And I had to I couldn't get the paper, so I did that. And the kid looks at me in horror, like,
I don't know where the situation was. Somebody said something and they had licked something and passed it to the person and they're like, that is disgusting. Do you realize COVID was my 9/11? Is what
They said that? That's what they said?
What they said, and I was just like,
Yeah, right.
wow.
I mean, it was terrible, but come on.
But I mean, maybe for them,
These
so far
kids with
that's
the
been,
germs.
that's
If they
been
lost somebody, I mean,
Yeah.
who knows, right? That's the thing. There were people that it was traumatized
I don't
by
know if
what
he
happened.
took a sip out of something, but I was like, whoa.
yeah, this kid
wait,
looked
wait,
at me and I was
wait,
like,
wait,
I
wait.
wanted to be like, are you serious? you're 10. You've touched dirty things. Like,
Right.
but he would not touch that paper.
Talk to me when you sucked water out of a friggin' pipe coming out of the cemetery. All right,
See,
Jesus,
I
this is what
get
gets me because this stuff is like, are you kidding me? You're worried about? I would worry more about people who lick their finger and count money. Now that
money
Pretty gross.
is gross.
Money.
I'm sure the
is-
kid would
is
have taken a 20 from me,
dirty.
though, if I licked that. Wouldn't take my piece of paper. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that's a little
He-
much.
he
It's very
just-
Nana-ish, though. My Nana used to lick the finger and that was
Oh,
the
I'll
thing.
still lick my kids,
Yeah.
my finger, and then put it on their face, and they're like, "Mom," I'm like, "You had something on your face," and like, "You just wiped your spit on me."
All right, question for you as a mom: did you ever, and then put down the quet on their hair, a hair sticking
Hey,
up?
I'm sure I have.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go in if they have a snot. Like, I'll be like, they're
Okay.
like, "Stop picking my
Whoa.
nose, Mom."
That's
I'm like,
no.
Say what
moms don't care. I'd rather
It's not. They should care.
pick their snot than them have them walk around with a
Well,
booger.
why don't you ask
I
them to
agree.
take the snot out of their
But why
nose?
can't you say,
Sometimes-
listen, you got a bat in the cave?
I do. I say you get a snot, and then if they don't get it the first time, I'm like,
Can you
I'll
call
just
it-
grab it.
Can you call it a booger?
It
Can
is
you call it a booger?
A snot booger,
Does
whatever.
that bother you?
Well, a snot is stringy. A booger is
yeah,
a little.
snot is a little
Now, see,
wet.
It is.
If you
Boogers
use
are-
the word booger around my mom and she's eating, she'll go,
Yeah.
No, my mom's the same
Don't-
way. She
stop.
hates it.
Stop it.
Really?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Really?
Stop.
What's with the sensitivity
I
to
don't know.
words?
Booger. Don't.
There is a different. You blow your nose, snots come
Snots
out.
come
A
out.
booger has to be
Oh.
picked.
Yeah.
I
That's
guess
the
A booger
difference.
is what's above.
That makes sense.
A booger is above the urinal.
That's yeah. I'm
I don't
scarred
know what
by
it
that.
is. I don't know what
Oh,
it is
somebody
with men.
did that at the Brat for a long time.
I don't know what it is with
Come
men, but
on.
they have to relieve themselves, pick their nose, and wipe it on the
Not
wall.
all men.
No.
Like you're in the bathroom, there's paper towels all around.
Seventh grade. Do you remember seventh grade? You're in the seventh grade. Now that right there, the seventh and eighth grade years, for me were wow. Everything was a big deal, and I couldn't fit in. I didn't fit in. I was awkward. I didn't know what I was. Nobody
he had a
did any.
beard.
No, did anybody like me? We all go through that, right? Seventh and eighth grade.
Yeah.
It's that before high school, you kind of don't know
Yeah.
if you fit in. You feel like you don't. That was me, 100%, like
You-
every
but you
other seventh
didn't-
grade kid.
Yeah.
You didn't have guys that you did fit in with, or kind of like you.
Yes,
You
small
know,
group,
the,
small group of guys.
No,
I don't
not
wanna
so
say
much.
the nerds,
Not,
but
no, not
you
so
know.
much because back then you didn't go hang out at a friend's house unless you were in the neighborhood. We're gonna get back to this, okay? Because Bill is on the phone, but I have a definite thing about that period of time and
boogers.
that in general. But we go to the phone. Bill Janovitz, I hope, is on the phone. We've been waiting. Bill, is this you?
Yes, hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. So we're talking about the Cars. The book is called The Cars, Let the Stories Be Told. Bill Janovitz is the author. Also was in the band Buffalo Tom, which is wicked cool. But I want to start because, God, I love the Cars. And you know what, Bill? They don't get enough attention because they had it's arguably one of the greatest debut albums of all time. I'm not just saying that because I'm from New England. Every song on that is killer. And I think that sometimes they don't get the respect they deserve.
I agree. It's funny to say. It's like saying, it's like saying the Stones didn't get the recognition for me. I mean, it's like,
Right.
their first record sold 6 million. Their fifth record sold 4 million. Almost every record in between was platinum or multi-platinum.
Yeah.
Yet, I think it was that commercial success that maybe limits them from being in those sort of discussions with, let's say, Talking Heads or other bands of their ilk. But they were far more successful, of course, commercially. But I think that record. I think all of their records they stand up artistically. These are not just big commercial smashes. There's an article that came out in the Ringer this morning by Stephen Hayden that is talking about the book, but he's like talking about like just that, like how kind of weirdly underrated the Cars are.
Yeah, I've always felt that way. I've got a million questions. First, we'll go to Roadkill. Go ahead, Roadkill.
Bill, we were just saying in the studio, we were talking about the Cars. Did they end on a bad note, or was it good?
No, it was bad. I mean, very few bands end on a good note.
Right.
It's as Elliot Easton, the guitar player of the Cars, says in the book. Bands are such a knucklehead proposition anyway. It's hard to sustain any kind of collaboration of grown people, of adults, where you're collaborating on anything. Never mind something that's as personal or emotional as art, some music, art, whatever. And then to go out and perform it together and to live together while you're recording it, and it's very hard. And this band is one of the few that was around for 10 plus years, but had the same 5 members, never changed out. So that's an incredible run.
What was the rift? Was it between Ben Orr and was it like between him and Rick? Was there 2 different, here's what we should do next kind of things? There's so many bands, Supertramp on down, that have had that, which way we going? The Police. Was it a rift like that? What was the main rift?
I think it was probably more like the Police. The thing is about the Cars is Ben Orr and Rick Ocasek had been basically partners in a bunch of different bands, starting in Ohio in the late 60s. They came out to Boston together in the early 70s. They tried on a few different, there was like 3 different bands plus things in between before the Cars. However, it was always Rick writing the songs. Yeah. And it was always Ben who was more of the natural front man. They divided up the songs equally in terms of who sang them on their first couple of records. Yeah. But as years go by, Rick, Elliot also said something like, Rick always seemed like he was afraid somebody was going to take something away from him. He had deep-seated insecurities. He was a bit of a narcissist. What else? But it was also their manager, Elliot Roberts, who managed Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, and importantly, co-managed Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And I don't know if you read Mike Campbell's book, but there's a lot of parallels between how Tom Petty, it was much more clear in Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, but with Tom Petty, he could only deal with one person at a time, only wanted to concentrate on one person. And with the Cars, that came at the expense of the other band members.
This is Bill Janovitz. He's the author of The Cars, Let the Stories Be Told. If you're a fan, you got to get this book. Go ahead, Kelly.
Peter Buck from REM, Bill, reviewed the book. He said, I love the Cars, I love the book, but it also stands as a cautionary tale about how not to run a band. Is that what you're referring to, the manager and Rick Ocasek? What specifically is he referring to?
Yeah, that's specifically it. Even though they had that partnership, Ben and Rick, it was always going to be Rick. Rick was always the leader. And he put pen to paper. He wrote all the songs, as I said. But as you see in the book, the story of the Cars is really about none of these guys were necessarily trying to steal anything, the spotlight from Rick at all. But Rick acted almost like I got to bring these guys down a peg. He was squashing side projects, and he was aided and abetted by Elliot Roberts.
He sounds like a dick. Sometimes there's a guy in the band or a person in the band that just is that guy. Sting,
usually the bass player. Usually the bass player.
Yeah. Sting was that guy in the Police. As talented as he was, not taking anything away from Rick. I'm the only one here that I saw the Cars live in their original form, and they sounded great. Not much of a stage show, though. But I always loved everything that they came out with. I loved. Except one song. There was one song that the Cars that I never was down with.
Magic.
No, You Might Think. That's the one. Do you ever? Is there a song for you? I love them all, so I'm a huge fan. But was there one song that you're just like, that one didn't take with me, Bill? Was there one for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, there were some songs I didn't really necessarily know. For me, I'm not sure if I said that already, but that record, the first record came out when I was 12 in 78. Yeah. The Heartbeat City came out when I was a senior in high school. So this band completely was the soundtrack of my junior high school through high school years, my complete adolescence, And I think by the time Heartbeat City came out, I was a budding hipster with my own sort of edgier taste.
I get you.
But I could not help but fall in love with the song Drive, which was basically a prom theme for that year. But I didn't buy that record because it just sounded too much like synth pop or whatever. It sounded more like Rockwell and Billy and Michael Jackson than it did, the rock and roll bands of my youth and the stuff that I wanted to hear. So there are some tracks on that record though that sound, as David Robinson of the Cars says himself, sounds like they could be Def Leppard songs. And I didn't like Def Leppard.
That period of time, was heavily influenced by MTV, and I think you could feel it more so on that album than any other stuff. I just think it's one of those interesting things. This band and the trajectory of this band. There are a few. If I mentioned before you came on that when you talk about debut albums, the three that are perfect albums in my mind: one, Van Halen, one. Two, the other one is Boston, and the third one is the Cars. Like I believe that the Cars' first album is a perfect album. There's nothing bad on it. Infinitely listenable, even today in 2025. Agree?
Yeah, I mean, they back then and to this day they sort of half jokingly call it their greatest hits album. I mean, it's all killer, no filler.
Yep.
It hits you over the head from the beginning, and it never lets up. It's just incredible.
I look forward to reading the book, man, and I appreciate the time today, Bill. Really appreciate it. The book is called "The Cars: Let the Stories Be Told." I look forward to reading it, and we appreciate you coming on with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Makes me love him more. You know, I could. You might think, ning, 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 ning. It was just ugh. But Drive, great song. Hello, Hello Again, great song. Magic, great song. Erika knows none of these songs. Zero.
I bet you if you played a couple, she might,
I don't know.
Maybe.
I can on the internet because
No.
we're not allowed to. I would love to do that. So where were we?
Licking my finger.
But boogers. We were talking boogers.
Teenagers. So 7th grade was that awkward time for everybody. Probably the kid's most difficult time where I realized I didn't fit in anywhere, right? So where am I going to fit in? I was all worried about it. I was always the odd man out. Kids were having parties and doing shit, and I was the kid that was left out. That was me. I still feel that way today. I think like those years in your life form who you are later. Fair?
Yeah.
Yep.
So there I am. I'm in the bathroom. Coming out of the bathroom, I just used the urinal. Nobody classes. It's in between classes. Everybody's in the hallway. I come out of the bathroom, and the janitor, whose name was Lionel, came running out of the bathroom, and he goes, "It was you!" And I'm like, "You know the story."
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, and he goes, "You!" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You're the one that's wiping your boogies on the wall." Everybody in the class, everybody in the whole school, in my mind, is in the class.
I like
mean,
that he
in the
called them the
hallway.
boogies.
And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
I love it.
No, I didn't do that. You put your boogies on the wall."
Boogies.
And he called them boogies.
That's my
and-
mom. Boogies.
And I'm
You
like,
got boogies?
I didn't. And no matter what I said,
Too late. It's
boogie
already
on
out
the
there.
wall guy.
It's out there.
Boogie on the wall
Yeah.
guy. And I know it sounds funny now.
It is funny.
But as a 13-year-old,
No. not
devastating.
That's the last thing
Funny
you
at
need.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
It didn't carry with me that I know. I didn't hear about that forever.
Yeah.
But I bet people said it when I wasn't around.
Yeah. That's the boogie guy.
And I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's
That
what got
story
me.
stuck.
The boogie, I
Liked your
didn't.
boogers on the wall.
Did not wipe my boogies on the wall. I did not.
He grew up poor. He was going to eat them.
They call it a
Oh.
booger farm. It's where you put your boogers behind the wall. But I
So
did not
gross.
do that.
Yeah.
I did
Well,
not
at
do
least
that.
they knew you didn't eat them.
Yeah, see,
If
I
you
did,
put them on the wall.
I didn't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do
I
it.
mean, what's grosser,
didn't
eating
do
them
it.
or putting them on the wall?
Eating.
Both.
Eating
Well,
them.
one's an art.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to. I can't. Let's not.
Maybe you
we're
put
already
it on the
down
wall,
low.
and then a week later you eat it.
Oh,
We are-
okay. Oh,
See, we
I
just,
don't like
that's the
this.
bottom of the barrel. We did. We couldn't
Yeah.
go
I don't like
lower,
it.
and then we did.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know
but-
what? Say what you want, girls. You guys picked your nose too.
What was
Okay.
7th grade like for you? Because to me, the one thing that saved me, it was a teacher. I've talked about it. Mr. Albaghini, this guy who first started, he treated me like a human being and not a kid, and that made me think, I'm done trying to be cool. And then everything started to change. But what did you feel like as a 7th grader?
I hit puberty early. So
Oh, he was bagging everything, huh?
I was a tad bit taller than everybody else.
Wait, what?
For no,
There's
for
no
very,
way.
Yes.
Where
yes,
were you in
for-
the Shire?
I don't know what it was, but bang! I grew, and then I stopped,
So I was gonna
and
say you're-
everybody went right by me.
'Cause I was gonna say you're only like 5'4".
He says that coffee stunned his growth.
Yeah.
I'm like, you mean stunted? He
Hey,
goes,
get
stunned.
puberty early.
Oh,
So what were you like? Like were you nervous? Were you like
Oh,
worried about
absolutely.
everything? Like I was a
absolutely.
friggin'
It's you're everything.
Yeah.
You know, talking to girls.
oh man, nothing worse.
But I wanted to.
Like of course you did.
And I usually succeeded.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of sleepless
When you say
nights.
succeeded,
As in, like, I finally talked to them.
oh, okay.
You
All
know,
right,
I was like,
just
oh,
checking.
she's really pretty. I want to ask her to the dance.
Yeah.
You know, oh my God, my stomach hurts.
Dude, I would be nervous asking a girl to dance. Never mind to go to the dance.
Yeah,
I didn't ask anybody, but
Neither
I was
did
like,
I was the shyest kid. I didn't.
what did you feel like in the 7th grade? Because is that when you had the glasses and you were afraid to speak?
We've talked about this a billion times. I didn't get glasses until I was in high school.
Okay.
I was afraid to speak. I didn't talk to anybody. I was quiet, shy, did not.
Was your hair blonde?
Dirty blonde, I
Okay.
guess.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Not
I'm
as dirty as it is now. It was less
dirty
dirty
blonde.
then.
No, I didn't talk to anybody. I went to class, went home.
Were you nervous? Did you feel out of place, like you didn't belong anyplace?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think
Everybody
everybody does.
does.
I don't
So-
think
Yeah, but
everybody feels like
What's
that.
weird is you don't realize it until years later.
But I don't think
that
anybody
you all
has
felt the
confidence
same way.
in that.
I didn't have a lot of confidence. I was shy, but if you played sports, you had some buddies that you hung out with.
Yeah.
So you felt comfortable that way. So I was always playing sports, and that was kind of like
Sports
the key.
people
to
stuck with sports people stuck with sports people.
Look,
so you
I-
always had like a buddy.
I played basketball. I played basketball, and I was friends with all of them, but we weren't hanging out afterwards because I was like 12 or 13.
Well,
And
you had practice afterwards, though, so you kind of were hanging out, and then maybe
But-
you'd get a ride home with somebody and his mom.
Yeah, I lived close to the school. There was no rides. So, but yeah, it was different then. Now it's a community, and there's much more hanging out than there used to be. What were you like in the 7th grade?
I was pretty outgoing in middle school.
Yeah.
I was
That's
loud
your heyday?
and
I was
What?
loud.
Was that your heyday?
Yeah.
Was that your heyday?
my heyday.
7th grade.
We don't know that term.
Yeah, Mr. Flurry.
Wait,
Was
Yeah.
was he,
Yes.
is he
Yeah.
6th grade? or
Sixth
7th?
grade,
Sixth
sixth grade,
So
yeah.
Mr. Flurry's first year of being a teacher was I was his first class.
So your heyday would be like the highlight of your life.
Peak.
Like that
Oh
was
no,
your
I
peak.
hope I haven't
Okay.
had my heyday yet.
Yeah, right.
No,
right, right.
okay, good.
Well,
yeah.
some people
No.
peak early. That's
no,
why I
no,
asked.
no. Yes, middle school was fun. I was in the neighborhood with all the guys, so all of the girls wanted to be friends with me because that's when guys are so cool and everyone wants to hang out with them. And I just lived next to all of the guys. So
Yeah,
yeah.
So, but you were kind of like the neighborhood. You were Were you one of the guys?
Yeah, I was good friends with
Yeah,
them.
because
Yeah,
you can get along with everybody.
and
yeah.
like after school sports or whatever, like you just hang out with who's in your neighborhood, who's on your team, you know. So
Did you feel insecure?
yeah, of course,
I,
totally.
freaking
Yeah,
nightmare.
Everybody
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
That's,
And when my kids went through that, I was really sensitive to it. Like, don't embarrass a 7th grader ever. Don't do it. Don't embarrass your 7th grader in front of anybody. Don't put them down. And having a 12, 13-year-old daughter, let me just tell you, even Kate admits it. Like, those were some up and down roller coaster emotions that
Oh,
were
yeah.
going on, and you just got to stick back and hope you don't get hit with the shrapnel, because it's like, wow. And you have to sort of give them room to find themselves without forcing anything on them too much.
Exactly.
Direction or any of that stuff. You went through it,
Yeah.
and you're
Yep.
you're going through it now.
Absolutely.
You know?
With 2 girls, and then you think you got it figured out because you somewhat got it dialed in with the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
one. Doesn't mean it's going to be that way for
Right.
the second one.
Now-
you could say something that you would just joking, and you could make them cry instantly.
Yeah.
Or like for us, it was like I'd pick them up after school, and if I didn't bring a snack, they could lose their mind.
Yeah.
So it was like from then on, that car had snacks in it because they could have had a
What was
really
it like
bad day.
when you did the last time that you didn't have snacks?
Dad, I just really, I need. As soon as your sister gets in the car, we're going right to Cumberland Farms, and you can go in and get anything you want. I know, but it's one of those. I need cheese so friggin' bad right now.
cheese.
Yeah, it was Nora and cheese.
One of Scotty's favorite clips is this little kid.
I'm quaky, I'm tired, I worked hard at school.
Okay,
Period.
now let me just say this, because you have, how old is Dylan
10.
and
He's in 5th
Parker?
grade. And
So
he's
your
in fourth.
kids
He's-
have personality. Like
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize I didn't have a personality, I don't think, until after like the 8th grade, when I stopped trying to be like other people, which was a big thing, because that's all I wanted was to be
Mhm.
like the cool guy. I was always the cool guy's buddy.
Yeah, my kids are
Yeah.
nothing like I was.
Yeah.
Like growing up. I mean,
I said, what,
Dylan.
more confidence.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Dylan's got
I mean,
confidence
and
to
so
the
does
moon.
Parker. They're both like, they're not afraid of anything. Like
Yeah.
they're, yeah, very well put together. And Dylan, like we go into, he's a 5th grader, but he's always he hangs out with high schoolers, which could be good and bad. I don't know, but he gets along with even the older kids.
Can be
Check
good when
the
they buy
ceiling for bud cans.
Good when they buy him beer. That'd be cool.
I know, it scares me.
The stuff you're gonna find out when they're 26 is gonna drop your jaw.
I don't. They're very honest with me, which again could be a good or bad thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, all lines of communication are open, and they tell me things that even now I'm like, okay, I don't speak about it because I don't want them to stop telling me stuff.
Right.
But sometimes they shock me with what they tell me. And I'm like,
The time will come. The time will come when they'll come clean about everything, and you're gonna go, "Wow, I thought I was on it." Like Scotty would give me crap about how I was pretty. I don't want to say strict, but I was trying to pay attention to
Aware,
everything.
yeah.
And then they're telling you stuff, and you're like, "Wow, how did that get by me?" You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really fun doing that to my
When
parents.
did you get to that point where you could admit to your parents the stuff that you did?
I would say in college.
Yeah.
I kind of started like, oh, I used to do this at this girl's house. And what?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel
That's
like
what
an
you're
adult.
doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because
that's when you feel safe.
That's why I
And
started
you
calling my
feel-
mom Connie.
You feel that they're going to take it as
Right.
a joke also, not as I know some people that have done it too young where their parents are like, well, we messed up that time, we're not going to mess up again. And you can still feel
The wrath a little bit.
wrath
a little
of that.
bit.
You know,
Yeah, totally.
once you
I
cut
get
all
it.
ties, you're like, listen.
Yeah. No, I get it. 100%. See, these are the kind of things that I love to talk about. I know we had other stuff we were going to do, but to hell with it. Because this is the kind of thing that makes you realize that you're the same as everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at that point, especially in time, and you can't tell a kid this that's going through it because you're never going to convince them that they aren't going through like something, or they aren't going through what everybody else goes through. Like so many times I would sit with the kids and go, you're not alone. You think like you may be the only one that feels this way. Trust me when I tell you, everybody feels this way. Well, how come they don't act it? I don't know, but they don't. They feel it, man. They all feel it. And sometimes the people who don't show it and you think are the coolest are the ones that fear it the most. I don't know. Life lesson.
Yep.
Life lesson.
Agreed.
I'm a life coach.
Yes, he is.
I'm a life coach.
It says that on the wall.
Yeah,
in
Craig
his
Crashmar,
office.
life coach. Parmesan School of Modeling, life coach. Andover Tractor Trailer School, life coach. What are you doing today, Kelly?
Today is workout day and Sox 6 o'clock start. So
Okay.
I'll probably listen to the radio first 3 innings and then be home to watch the
I
rest.
do
Scotty?
love watching that.
Smokey's Tavern tonight, guys, 6 to 7. Come on out, hang out.
Autumn Bazale.
Autumn Bazale, and I got TSO tickets, so that's what's going on.
Dog sitting for you?
Not today. Just
good.
hanging out, working out.
Okay.
That's about it.
Excellent. Laura?
Yeah, we have football practice tonight. I have putting together a project that I will be working on most of the day. And, yeah.
Okay.
What about you, G-Man?
I think
It's
I'm
calendar
gonna.
time,
I think
isn't
I'm working on photos from last weekend. But I think I'm gonna maybe plant some trees with the Peace Corps. I might fly to a
serious?
country and feed some people.
That's freaking
I got a busy
amazing.
schedule today, but we'll be back tomorrow. But thanks for checking out the Buzz 24/7. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Okay, click the subscribe.
And like. Give
Yeah,
us a thumbs
and
up.
like. Yeah,
And
right.
don't stop putting your boogers on the wall. you know who I'm talking. You.
It's not
Those
me.
Picker.
Swear
That
to
guy
God.
right now.
Thank you.
Picker.
Thank you very much. We'll see you all tomorrow.